Guys, thank you so much for being really, really patient with us. Obviously, tuning in, Toni with that microscope and everything was a little bit tricky, but we are here now and you are in for such an amazing treat because tonight you are really going to come on a journey with us, on a very liquid journey with us, with two real incredible elements. If you think about it, blood and hydrogen, they're like these kind of cosmic cousins, if you like. Each of them, whether it's a drop of blood or whether it's an atom of hydrogen, they both have these blueprints of life inside of them. And so tonight, Toni is going to show us exactly what it is like, exactly what the blood does when we, drink a bottle of our cell power. So, Toni, can we hear you now?
Hi.
We got you. Amazing.
Oh,
Amazing. Welcome. So excited to have you. For those of you that don't know, this is Toni Dicks. She's been, a blood specialist for the last 15 or so years. I would say her specialty is really working with either super sick children, right? You work with super sick children, or she has also found her way into the rich and famous, and she also looks after a lot of the blood work in that space as well. So she has a really demanding job, I would say, because when you got those two groups of people, obviously parents willing to do whatever they need to do to help their children get well, and obviously high performers on the other end, trying to make sure they're performing as high as well. And Toni really looks after these two categories. Toni, why blood work? Why is it so interesting? Why is it so fascinating?
Well, the saying is that the blood never lies. So one of the most fascinating things about it is even when you train in blood work, you are continually learning as you go along, because the blood will tell you sometimes across the board, everybody has the kind of same reaction, and also bespokely what it is that person is asking for. So it's kind of the idea of being a specialist is probably not in the sense of the usual way in which you would train and you would learn everything by the book and you would become a specialist because you pass an exam and etc. It's more a case that you become a specialist because you start to, after years and years and multiple samples that you take of people, you start to see patterns and you start to see the way that the human body responds, and sometimes maybe not even in the way that you think it would. So that was the initial fascination with the blood, is that it's not about the individual, and it's not really about as in the individual that's trained in it, and it's not about learning it scriptedly and everything will be the same. There's this incredible curiosity and experimentation that happens, and you start to find things out, and you start to find out that everybody starts to respond in some cases in the same way, and then in other areas not everybody needs everything. But the one thing that I can tell you that everybody needs, and I was concerned that maybe there was a point when I thought we didn't need water, was that everybody needs water, but it can't just be any kind of water.
Yeah. So another question, what really, I guess, started your journey as well with cell power? So, with our particular bottle, with our particular water.
Yeah, I mean, it was a complete fluke. So I went to the Healy conference in June, I think it was. And I'd never even turned on my Healy at that point. And I turned up to, I guess, look at, again, from a blood point of view, what was the Healy going to do in terms of the blood work, and understand it a little bit more. And of course, Nuno got on stage and I realized why I had attended that conference, because he started to talk about water. And I'm going to be honest, it's the one thing in my whole career that I've never been able to find the answer to. So I decided, I think I bought the last 4 bottles. I ran after Rita and hunted her down and said, I need those bottles. And actually, that became the focus. Actually, my mind was going crazy because I was thinking, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the thing where I'm actually going to see people's blood be able to be hydrated. Because I've seen people drink 3 liters of water a day for 3 months and nothing changes. And in fact, if anything, I feel bad because all they do is sit on the toilet all day. It makes it really, like, going to work, public transport, driving in cars, etc. They're like, I just, just really uncomfortable actually doing that and seeing no changes to the blood. So I then came home from that retreat and it was the old bottle, of course, and I gave one to my husband, one to me, one to a colleague and best friend that we work with, Bill, and actually a little girl called Connie, who I'd been working with for a long time, about 18 months. She had brain tumors, and I was working with my team, but we'd done really well with her. But there was just one tumor that was, I guess, a little bit stubborn, if you like. It wasn't active, but we wanted to certainly get her to ring the bell. And we'd done a lot of stuff with sound and blood work, etc. And she'd been amazing considering her age. She'd really stuck to the schedule, bless her. And I decided to give them the bottle of hydrogen water. Actually, no, I didn't gift it to them. She did pay. And they bought the hydrogen bottle. And at that point, I said to the mum, I don't really know what will happen. And we can't put this down to this. We never said this. But ultimately, 3 months later, she rang the bell. So that was her saying that the hospital I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but in England, if you ring the bell at Great Ormond Street, it means they're releasing you, that you're free to start your next steps of hopefully a full recovery, that they no longer needed to treat her. So that was, and we have to be really careful, I know, with the things we say. I can't say it was that, but what I can tell you is that her hydration changed significantly.
And I remember you relaying that story to me and saying, this was the reason I really decided to partner with Lumavite, because I finally found the thing that actually can hydrate blood. I remember you saying, you've spent 15 or so years trying to find a solution to that and haven't been able to find a solution. I know you've tried multiple different ways to get people hydrated, from people drinking hot water to, whatever it was, different things that are out there. And you just couldn't see it in the blood. You couldn't see that people were getting hydrated in the blood. And then obviously Cell Power and Lumavite, you could.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my husband's pretty obsessed with water filters and has been for years. And we kept trying all the different water filters. Yes, we were obviously filtering the water fine, but it wasn't making a difference to the hydration of the blood at all. And actually, I even got to a point where I wondered, because there's so much now in the world where we've been told things that potentially aren't true. There was even a moment where I considered, are we even supposed to drink water? Like, I mean, there's the Ayurvedic way of saying we need to drink warm water. I looked at all of that, tried it with teas, naturally infused teas. It just tried electrolytes, I tried it all. And it's not even like people got a little bit more hydrated. It just never shifted really at all. And so that was the moment when I thought, I need to get home quick and start looking at this. And it was immediate, which you'll see tonight. It was immediate.
Awesome. Well, shall we get underway?
Okay. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by kind of explaining very simply terrain theory as I would understand it from the blood point of view. So a bit like Nuno's always talked about in terms of the fish tank analogy, the way that terrain theory works is if we had a fish in a fish tank and the fish got sick, we wouldn't treat the fish, we would treat the water. Okay, so it's exactly the same with a human being. We don't treat the symptoms, we treat the blood, the terrain, the river of life that runs through us. And so when you look through a dark field microscope, you're going to see live the blood, so it's going to move. And it may not move if it's very sticky, but we'll go through that. Things will change as we go on tonight. So if we look at the first picture, this is a balance of terrain. Okay, so these are the red blood cells. I know they're blue, but under a dark field microscope, the color is different. So we can see they look like little blueberries. They have a beautiful white edge on the cell membrane. They're separated out, so they're oxygenated. The white light around the cell membrane shows that they're holding light, and we're, light beings. And when they're separated like this, they're able to flow through the body. They bounce off each other. If they're going through a capillary artery vein, they kind of let each other go through. There's this wonderful buoyancy to them. And in the background, in the plasma, you can see vitality, which is like little twinkling lights, which is our chi. And it would tell us that there's no inflammation within the body. And as you can see with the cell membrane, when they're separated out, it means that we can assimilate, meaning take in goodness, and we can eliminate, excrete rubbish from the cell and into the plasma, into the lymphatic system. And the body has 4 different ways in which it can eliminate: respiration, perspiration, urination, and defecation. And so respiration obviously being the lungs, perspiration is us sweating, the lymphatic system, urination, the kidneys, and defecation is the GI tract. So everything from the mouth down to the anus. So then on the other slide, we call it a stressed terrain, and we'll just use that word for the moment rather than dehydrated. We have a stressed terrain. So the cell membrane lacks integrity. So actually, if they were separated apart, in some instances, you can even see a crinkly edge. So the integrity is completely gone. But when they're stuck together like this, very simply, we can call this sticky blood. You can imagine that there's no uptake of nutrition. Elimination is poor. It's stagnant, so the blood doesn't move. And the vitality is low, and this is inflamed blood. Okay, so the importance around the word stressed, I just want to give you this in the most simplest way that I can in terms of the importance of the word stress. So our external environment stresses us out, and that could be through like a number of different ways. So it could be tech, it could be a toxic environment, i.e. pesticides. It could be that we're going through something in our life at that moment. So there's an emotional stress that's actually in our environment that we're dealing with. It could be just the stress of like general fatigue that we're going to and from work. We might be going on public transport. We're not getting enough sleep. It could be that we're dealing with something like grief. We could be going through surgery of some kind. We've had a surgery of some kind. We're in recovery. So these are external stresses, things that are happening to us. And then internally, very simply, our internal environment then is a reflection of that stress. Okay, so it's in a number of different ways, pulling from different areas of the body to kind of buffer the stress that might be caused on a certain system or a certain organ. And we start to notice things like maybe sleep apnea or insomnia, or the fact that we've got anxiety, or that we can't find that we've got any energy. We've got massive fatigue. It could be that we find we get eczema, or that we get alopecia, all these different things that we start to show as a symptom. But the most important thing to know that external stress, when it causes an internal stress, is there's one side effect that it has systemically across the whole body. It's the number one side effect, and that is dehydration. And the important thing to then know that the number one side effect of dehydration is inflammation. So actually, when we look here, we are looking at it's a stress terrain, but it's dehydrated and it's inflamed. And what most people don't know is that of all the, and any doctor would agree with this, of all the 45,000 diseases that have ever been noted, the starting point, there's one characteristic that sits across all of them, all 45,000, and it's the starting point, and that's inflammation. So what we know is stress causing systemic dehydration, causing systemic inflammation, is the root start to all diseases. Now, how that manifests and shows itself is bespoke to each individual. And, you know, that's a whole other topic of how that might happen in terms of genes, ancestry, things that are going on, weaknesses, accidents we've had in the past. There could be a number of things, but that's kind of irrelevant for now. What's important to know is if there's one thing, therefore, that we could give ourselves that would be the most important thing in our balancing of the terrain, would be to be fully hydrated at all times. Because even if we had an external stress happening, that hydration internally would allow us to deal with actually that external stress. It's like a catch-22, so much better. Please tell me everyone's heard me up to now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
It's perfect.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, I think, to be honest, that's probably as simple for today as we would need to look at the blood, because the thing that I have noticed, and you brought it up, Taryn, about working with, you know, sick children to working with super wealthy people, even though there may be different factors involved, for some people it might be budget. You know, as I've said, I know families that have had to remortgage houses to try and go an alternative route for their children, versus the other side, even with the very wealthy who don't have that problem, but they don't have time, right? And they don't have the capacity to be thinking about doing all these things to maintain their health every single day, especially with all their flying, etc. I've always known that if there was one thing that you could give everybody, it would be water, and I never had the solution. So I guess talking to all practitioners out there and just the person that's thinking about this in terms of their loved ones, the importance of this is, if somebody was to do nothing else, this has the most incredible effect on the terrain of the blood. And it's the starting building blocks, because you even can reduce the level of supplements you're taking. That's why I talk about the budget element, because once you're fully hydrated, when you take a supplement, it's working 100 times. Actually, I don't know that it's 100 times, but what I do know is that the uptake of that supplement is so much quicker, better, and more efficient. So for instance, my husband is a complete supplement junkie. In fact, to pull away the supplements was almost like trying to take someone off of a drug. He was like, I love my morning routine. But he noticed very quickly, within 4 weeks, that he didn't need anywhere near the level of supplements in the morning that he was taking by replacing it with the hydrogen water. So there's an incredibly important message with all of this, which is, if we wanted to be able to say, how could we bring something to the world that would allow it to fit around our budget, fit around our time, and also fit really well just around the simplicity of understanding health, because all of us know this. The well-being subject can get really complicated. Some things work for some people, they don't for others. Some supplements are good, but they're not well sourced. You know, there's a multitude of things. Everybody probably understands what I'm saying with this. If we were to say, look, if there's one thing you do really, really well, this is it. I think we just managed to break through into something really accessible, and it's relevant to every single person on the planet. So that's kind of all I have to say from a theory point of view and an experiential point of view of the blood, unless you want to ask me any more. But I guess the next part for me will be, and you let me know when, is to start showing you some blood work.
Well, I think that's why we're all here, is to see this incredible blood work and see what our water, our hydrogen is going to do on this blood work. So let's get to it.
Okay, fine. So let me just try and clear all of that for a second. Okay, so who's had
if you could please mute, if you're jumping.
I have you first.
There we go.
And then what we're going to do is, once I've done your blood, you're going to go and drink a load of water. Yeah. So just to be clear, guys, today, no one has had any hydrogen water, just for the sake of being able to show a really good before and after. So, and you really want some? Bless you.
Right. So Toni, just to, I guess, to explain to everyone what's happening there, and I don't, maybe we can swap these screens for a moment. So Toni has 3 people, right? You have 3 people with you that you've invited to come over to your home, where you're doing it from, to actually test their blood. So they haven't drunk any hydrogen water today, even though they actually do normally drink hydrogen water from my understanding, but they haven't drunk any today. So we're actually going to live see what happens on these 3 people, their actual blood work. You're actually going to see their blood under the microscope, each of them.
Correct. And I'm just trying to see if I can make, is that better? Can you see me a bit better now?
Yeah.
And then when I put it under the microscope. Okay, what was I just doing? Oh, yeah.
You just made me bleed.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm multitasking like I've never multitasked in my life. Okay. So I'm taking it. So the way that it works with blood work, guys, you take a droplet of blood, that's all it requires. And we're going to pop it onto the slide. So we're going to show you what a normal kind of sample would look like if somebody hadn't had, you've had water, but you've not had hydrogen water. Any water in hydrogen water in a day.
So don't drink.
Yes, please.
So you see, Toni's obviously just taken the sample from Bill and putting it under the microscope. So you're about to see his blood live. So he has been drinking water, but he just hasn't been drinking our water today. What it looks like. No, I'm curious. Why does, okay, I'll wait for you to go. Okay, jump in.
So let me just share.
All right, here we go. She's sharing her screen now, so about to jump up.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's happened here. 1 second. Okay, no, I have shared. That's right. You can see.
We can see your Zoom screen, but we can't see your microscope.
Fine. Okay, can you just pass me a battery bill?
All right, while Toni's doing that, I'm going to ask some questions to Nuno around hydrogen and blood. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, while you're doing that, Toni, let me know when you jump back in. So why does hydrogen react so well in terms of the blood, in terms of really, I guess, the terrain of the blood, right?
Yeah. Yeah, look, what is hydrogen? You can do a kind of analogy that blood is a river and hydrogen is something that flow on this river. So any change that you do, if you drink hydrogen water, of course, because it's so many hydrogen molecules that you can see something different. Because if you look more deep to the blood, this is a flow of hydrogens. So if you have more and a real, energy, a new energy, hydrogens, with a new vital energy, of course, change. And it's very easy to show that because is two environments that are very close, the link,
Okay, so the link between blood
and water. Yeah.
And hydrogen.
Yeah, because hydrogen is in both,
Yeah,
So,
it's in both.
Yeah, so blood is a kind of we have the picture.
Okay, we have the picture now.
Yes, okay. Blood is a kind of water.
Yes.
Yeah, with other minerals, with other. So it's because of that it's so amazing to see that the hydrogen that you have in water can merge.
Can interact with each other
Yes.
because essentially you've either got
Environment is
two environments are quite similar, so they work really in harmony with each other.
Yes.
They are really cosmic siblings.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, we've got the blood on the screen now. Let's go.
Toni.
So what you're looking at here is these are the red blood cells, and obviously they're in rouleau, which is the word that we use, but they're sticking together. So there's a stress on the system, which is a systemic dehydration that we're seeing. The blood cells are all sticking together. This point where I said to you about they're not going to be able to communicate any information coming into the cell, any information coming out of the cell. This is why you have this kind of yellowish color as well, because through the day, they've not been able to release any rubbish in the system, in the cells. Actually, Bill has really nice energy. You can see his vitality in the background. His chi is good. He's strong. He's healthy. Interestingly, if you can see here, the round sort of what looks like a moon is the white blood cell. And this is another thing that I actually didn't mention, which I also was not expecting is, and maybe Nuno might be able to again explain this, but the immune system we're hopefully going to see that tonight because I've never not seen it. It completely expands open, the white blood cell. It completely changes. It opens up. It does something phenomenal to the immune system as well. So it's not just about seeing the cellular health of the red blood cell starting to look hydrated in its own area, thing that you'll see on the after effect of how that changes, but it's also the effect that it has on the white blood cells. At the moment, this looks constricted. You can't see the nuclei. It's not really got much clarity. It's kind of a bit misty. It will grow in size. You'll start to see the nuclei and the color will become much brighter. There'll be a much more light being held in that.
Amazing. Well, that's the insider Bill.
The inside of Bill.
Yeah, this is amazing. What Toni are sharing with us. Look, this is a new vision, This is something that imagine that someone put new eyes on you and now you can see more than, that you can imagine. You are looking for life inside you. And this is, we don't have any words to explain and what is amazing to look of this. So this is really amazing,
Yeah. And what's quite amazing about this blood, right, is that Bill has been drinking, but just not drinking our water.
Correct. He's been drinking and not drinking our water. You can see that Bill has he has a good basis of health because his vitality is in the plasma. It doesn't mean that people don't have energy when you don't see the vitality there. It just means that the body's using it elsewhere. So with Bill, we can pretty much see from this sample, I would know through looking at thousands of samples that by just giving him hydration, it's just his cellular health that wants this. I would be completely shocked if we don't see a huge shift in his terrain because the energy is here present in the cellular health, which basically tells us it's not off giving attention to other places. So I would expect Bill to have actually a really amazing response to this one. So how many of you, have you done?
Yeah.
Right. Let's have a look at the after then. Well done, Bill. So you did 3 at 6 minutes. That went quick. Okay. Right. We're off, guys. 1 second.
So Bill drank 3 shots of water on the 6-minute cycle.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have some nice, healthy, therapeutic. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that.
This is an important point. I tried in the evening doing 3 on a 3-minute cycle, and it doesn't have anywhere near the response in the blood. So the 6-minute cycle from the afternoon is really important.
I think, as you all know, well, we know, right? The 3-minute cycles for the morning and the 6-minute cycles for the afternoon, because the body requires more hydrogen in the afternoon.
To recover. Yeah, it's to recover.
Because of the cycles.
Yes, the cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah, oxidation in the morning. So it's to spend energy. And after spend energy, of course, we need to gain some energy for the next day. And this is the amazing cycle. So 6 minutes afternoon. Afternoon.
After about what time? Like what time like around 3 when our circadian rhythms usually?
Yeah, but you know, this is amazing because English people, because the tea.
Because of tea?
Yeah.
I love how he looks at me when he says tea.
They have the 5 p.m.
I know the tea.
And the tea time. This is amazing because is a trigger point for drink water.
Right.
Yeah, start the kidneys working. And it's really amazing. So
I guess it's just listening to your own body, though, right? When you, like, everyone has that dip. I know I do. I have that dip that happens when I can feel like, I can feel my energy is going down. At that point, now I really need to be on the 6-minute cycle.
Yeah.
And before we go to bed, would we be having the 6-minute cycle?
Yeah. I don't know, because sometimes I drink, of course.
Well, I hope
before.
you know.
Okay, no, but it depends, because there are some people that, for instance, men that have, prostate problems, if drink water, too much water before go to sleep, at 2 or 3 hours after, you need to wake up, and it's not ever.
It's not good for their sleep.
It's not, yeah. So,
What about the hydrogen water?
it happens the same because it's water with hydrogen, so your metabolic process react the same way. So for us, if we have problems in the prostata, like hyperplasia, I think it's not good.
It's not ideal. Okay, but for everyone else that doesn't have a prostate problem,
you can drink, yes.
Yeah, but we would do the 6-minute cycle before we go to bed. Okay, because our body is going back into recovery.
Yeah,
and with the frequency as well, we would do the 6-minute cycle with the recovery.
We can yes, because sleep is part of that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's for recovery. So you increase your recovery.
Yeah.
It's
great.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. We are nervous.
We're like,
This is all the problems, when you are in life. We don't know nothing what can happen.
This is no idea.
Yeah,
Going to
no idea.
yeah, we're live with you guys.
What's going to happen with Bill's new blood?
This is how much we believe.
Great. Yeah. To hydrogen.
Hydrogen gods.
Can you see that?
No, you're not sharing.
She looks happy. She looks happy.
So it's happy. You can see, yes. You can share.
Share it now.
Okay. Hold on. Why can't they? Hold on, no. Why can't they?
Bill wants to see his
Bill
blood.
wants to see that it's changed.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
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 Wow. That's so quick as well.
I want this water.
Just also say listen.
Let me do something to my blood.
Can you see the difference in the
Like, okay, that just reminded me to drink. Yeah, within minutes of him consuming that,
Wow.
it's already in his blood. You can already see it. moving apart and moving.
Wow.
So the difference here that I see is, I mean, I think we could do even better with Bill. I'm going to make him drink a couple of more. But here you can see the white blood cell now, the color started to come through. Before it looked like a misty moon. You can start to see the nuclei is starting to show. And you can see the edge of the, yeah, actually, can you go and drink another one? Because this will really open up on the next one. The white light of the cell membrane is showing now that he's starting to hold light and oxygen in the cell. The reason I was struggling to show you guys at first was because it was moving so quickly on the screen. Here, I don't know if you can see another white blood cell here. It's starting to really twinkle. I don't know how clear it is at your end, but there's a clarity now to the plasma is darker. Here's another of these white blood cells that I was, the white blood cells here showing, trying to get it in the center here. Have you had another one?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So just bear with me 2 secs, guys. Just not going to bother switching it off. I'm going to just chuck it under so quickly.
Okay. We're all just drank. I was like,
It's like, wow.
take a drink. Now, I know, Nuno, why does it happen so fast? Because that's also the thing that Toni, I know when been talking to her about her blood work, and as she said, she's done thousands of blood samples and she never sees them hydrated. But she's like, but the fact that it is so fast.
Yeah.
Do you know, we have the factory in China, as you know, Shenzhen. And everything happens very, very fast in Shenzhen. So usually we say is Shenzhen speed because you ask something in the morning and after, 2 p.m. you have the things that you want in your hands. So I'm joking, of course, but I don't then have the Shenzhen speed. Yeah, because it's so small, it's so thin that the reaction is so faster than you can imagine.
Because it's the smallest molecule in the world.
Yeah,
so
very
it's
small,
able
yeah.
to get into absolutely everything so quickly. But what was so amazing?
Girls also when you where your body need it.
Yeah.
Where you need
So
it.
it is the river of your body. If you need water in your body, good water. So your veins are the road. So the hydrogen goes there to go to your body. So
That's a really good point. So a story that I'm going to share, and Toni may elaborate on it later, but as the blood comes up, oh, here we go. The blood's coming back up again. You can see it's nice and moving. And you can see there's so much light around it. It's not yellow like it was before.
So here, can you see the whites have got slightly bigger again?
And this is after another bottle?
This is after another bottle.
Okay.
Actually, what you start to see now in the plasma, can you see that the background is just a little bit more, there's a little bit more debris in there, but that's because the cells are releasing now, so it's coming into his lymph.
Wow.
Which would mean then if he had an infrared sauna, so you see the cells, they're not completely unraveled, but they are starting to unlink here.
Yeah.
You can start to see they're coming into their own space. If we kept going with this on poor Bill, and he would have those cells unlinked. But what we are starting to see also now is this is the perfect time that you would go and put somebody in an infrared sauna actually, and then you just put it out through the largest organ, the skin, and start to get the debris that's coming out of the cells out of the largest surface area of the body actually. Here's some beautiful whites. They're really much, much bigger.
Wow.
So can you, I don't know if anybody else, if you're noticing it, but can you see how much more light is coming in each time around the cell?
Well, I noticed that before it was a little bit yellow around the edge, and now it's like more bright white.
Correct. So I'm going to move it. You guys keep talking. I'm going to move on to the next person.
Okay, awesome. So the story I was going to share actually is that Toni had shared with us earlier this story how she was doing this blood work, and she was curious to see what the Cell Power Lumivite water was going to do on some blood work, and she'd just done another bunch of other samples, and she noticed that one of the guys didn't have much movement in the blood. But what she did notice is that it went, as you just said before, hydrogen goes where it's needed. So he had really terrible inflammation actually in his back and in his spine.
Yeah.
And so what she could see through a hologram, which is not what we're going to go into tonight.
Not tonight.
Maybe on another session.
Part
But what
two.
she could see was that the fluid went to his spine
Yes.
and didn't go to the blood, because the blood was like not as important as the spine.
The spine.
Yeah, this is the the reaction, as everybody when drink this water and use the Lumivita, feel the water where the body need it. And this is amazing because we try here in the clinic with Rui, and Rui comes very red, and because the circulation Rui is not so good, you need to improve the circulation. We are always tell Rui you need to do something, but Rui,
Tech man over here.
yeah, he's the tech man, so we need Rui on the top, and Rita, Martin, my friend, have the same symptoms, so it's really amazing, and this is one feature of hydrogen, can go where you
Need it most.
When you need it most. So you're not depleting the energy that we have already in the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the most efficient little molecule. It's like, boom,
yeah,
where am I needed? Boom, it's like a little superhero.
it's a kind of magnetic attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what we
Yeah,
were
but
talking
it's real, because if you have this, and if you need something, you are this. So this is the connection,
Yes, yes.
This is the spin of the particles. So look like this.
Yeah.
If you are like this, of course,
One's negative, one's
about.
positive.
Yeah.
that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to attract
If
each
you are
other.
okay here, of course you
doesn't-
don't go here.
Yeah.
So you go where you are negative. So this is yesterday we showed that about
yesterday.
the protons. This is protons, okay?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is
Yeah.
in the blood.
Yeah.
And I just
Here, guys, can you see what I'm looking at?
This is person number 2.
Person
Whose
number
blood is
2.
this?
what is
Here,
this?
so this is our lovely Victoria. So
Okay, Victoria's blood. We're
Hi,
seeing
Victoria.
the inside Victoria.
say hello. So oh, they can't see it. Oh, yeah, they can. So she's definitely dehydrated. Vic's got a lot white, really nice white blood cells. They need opening up, but her immune system is really good. However, I think we're going to see that open up a lot more. Actually, the fact that Vic has got a bit more debris in the plasma is probably because the body is a little bit more efficient at eliminating waste, actually. So the best thing Vic could go and do as well is an infrared sauna. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her plasma clean up, because it delivers it into the lymph nodes. Once the hydrogen comes in, it's going to push that debris through to the lymph nodes, ready for her. Okay, so just to recap on this, so what we can see is that yellowish tinge, as we said, to the cells, but actually Vic's body has got like the perfect opportunity here with some debris in the plasma that she could do an infrared sauna, start to get that moving through. She's got a really nice immune system, just needs packing up a little bit, but you can see her white blood cell count is really nice. Just in that one view, we've got 4 of them there. So we're now gonna look at the after from the 3 hydrogens. Okay, give me a second, guys.
Just so you all know, for the future, obviously, right now, our company hasn't even launched. I know we have a lot of people, we have a lot of interest, we have a lot of excitement that's going on. I know inside of our Telegram chats and all of these things, but we are actually, when we launch, which I will tell you soon, but we actually will have a beautiful platform, which will be a private platform for us to actually be able to go on. So we will not have these kind of issues in the future. We will have a lot more ease and flow with our tech.
kind of like the blood.
Yeah.
So can you see
Wow.
this?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
So the thing that's really interesting here, can you see Vic already had a nice immune cells? Can you see how much you can see the nuclei now much clearer, sort of looks like a
Yeah,
smiley
clear.
face.
Very clear.
And up here, where was it? It was like a massive one. Well, you can see all of them have opened up. Now, what I can see here is when we open up fixed blood, this kind of like hollow center that we've got is oxygen. So for something like this, I don't know what you think of this, Nuno, with somebody's blood like this, now it's moving lovely and it's all opened up. At bedtime, I'd be saying to put some sleep tape on so that they breathe really deep down into the diaphragm. I don't know how you feel about things like that, but I just offer that up as a, like that would be the next layer of what I could see would work really nicely, is to nose breathe now as she sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful blood. Nice work, Vic.
So, you know, and an infrared sauna here as well to clean out any rubbish in the plasma. But these white blood cells have really opened up.
Mm.
Yeah, yesterday we talked a little bit about that, but we talked about, you remember the high density and low density?
The low density.
The same that you have here,
Yeah.
before and after. So it's the same, the concept is the same, because this is water, okay?
Okay, so we're going to do the last blood test now, which is Jenny.
So, Michelle, hydrogen in your practice, obviously you have this incredible clinic and you see a lot of people. What have you noticed personally, actually, with using the Lumivite cell power water? And what have you even noticed with some of your patients? But let's try personally yourself, because you really do experiment on yourself.
I do.
Quite a lot.
I do. And you can, you know, I'm always bothering Nuno as well. I'm like, as soon as I'm with him, I'm like, tell me the things. So I started, I replaced all of my water basically with Nuno's recommended ratios earlier in the year. It must have been maybe March, April time, maybe.
Yes.
Using his specific ratios that he recommends and using the first prototype bottle. At the time, it was an extremely high stress time for me. My father was about to pass away. He was supporting me through that. All kinds of things going on in my life, lecturing, still working at the same time. And I was having a lot of what I would consider as brain fog and muddled thinking. And I'm used to my brain being highly functionable and being able to access things when I need them. I was just feeling extremely stagnated, extremely confused, actually. And it was quite concerning for me as soon as I used my brain a lot. I then started listening to the sensei right here and changing my relationship with hydration. And I thought I knew everything about hydration, honestly. I thought I was hydrating. I thought I was drinking enough water or green tea. Water products, and then I was extremely hydrated. And as soon as I switched to the protocol that Nuno put me on with the specific ratios that we recommend for this particular bottle, even using the old prototype, I had a massive change, not just in my cognitive output, but in my physiology. Like my body changed physically. I work out a lot, my fitness output changed, my relationship with energy changed, and I have never drunk anything else since. Every single drop of water that goes in my body is Nuno's water, actually, and it has been since the beginning of the year. And since using the new bottle, I mean, you can really, especially working with the cycles of the body, you know, I love Chinese medicine, as you know, and understand the yin and yang cycles of the body, and really creating a relationship with how the body works at different cycles within the day, and then using water as a tool to fortify the body's natural energy systems has really been quite mind-blowing for me personally.
Okay, we've got some new blood up on the screen.
Wow.
Here, can you see, guys, there's quite a reddish
else has
tint
Toni.
to the sample, actually. So this is showing that this has probably been like this for a little while. So it's in an inflammatory stage. So this may take, it may not, but this may take a little bit more to shift, because this is very rouleaued. Okay, so this hasn't just been a day of not having water. This is a much longer time of having a high level of dehydration happening in the body, and therefore we've got a systemic inflammatory terrain that we're looking at. So to change this for the individual would make a huge impact. They would start to feel a real difference from being hydrated. You can also see that the white blood cells here, this is a white blood cell here, which is substantially much more constricted than actually even the other two samples. So, but there is energy in the sample. So it shows that this person's got the resources for energy. This is just chronic dehydration we're looking at.
Awesome. Okay. And what about with your some of your like clinical patients that you look after? So I mean, have you started using?
Of course.
Lumavita water with them?
Absolutely. And it just going back to what Toni said, you know, it's really quite profound how simple some things can be, even though there are many factors like environmental factors in keeping our bodies in the condition that they really need to do to function. Hydration is just such a profoundly simple, easy way to even kind of enhance the system to better deal with things like oxidative stress, which is a #1 cause of major illness, you know, and a starting factor for major illness. And, you know, just again, going back to what Toni said, wellness can sometimes be so complicated, right? We make it so complicated, especially with all the supplements. I mean,
sometimes.
Like all the time. Again, Nuno knows. Okay, I've also been weaning myself off the complexity, even as a medical professional. But we make it so complex, and then in the complexity of wellness, we lose relationship with consistency of being consistent with our wellness because we don't notice consistent change, or you know, we get confused in what we're doing. And the one thing that I've noticed clinically is a profound change in people's relationship with their wellness, like the grace and ease it brings. So even removing, because, you know, if we're talking about stress and oxidative stress, even wellness can cause that sometimes because we're like trying so hard to be healthy and not seeing the changes that we need. But the grace and ease that comes with my personal patients just from using hydrogen water, specifically the Lumi bottle, and what it's able to bring to their wellness just by drinking water and removing the stress of the complexity of wellness. And that really just comes from things like this, terrain theory, and understanding what we're walking around in, the human body.
No, for those of you, those that haven't heard your aquarium theory, do you want to explain the aquarium theory for those that haven't heard it yet?
Yeah, yes, of course. Look, yeah, what we have, we come from the sea, yeah? Maybe we don't remember because it was so long time ago, but we come from the sea. So the universe cannot create something different that the root should be the sea. So what the universe do with us? It creates a membrane, and because we are water containers with a membrane, so we are liquid.
Skin is our membrane.
Yeah.
And we're just a bag of water, really.
Yeah, we are a bag of water, yeah.
We are.
And of course, this water should be clean. And we have the kidneys to clean our environment. You have the kidneys.
Which is like our filters. Our little filter system
is like filters, yes.
Is our kidneys, which is one of the reasons why we're very big on you not drinking tap water, you know, and not having too much TDS in there, because your kidneys then become the filter.
Have a limit.
Yes,
yeah. And so you're overstressing your kidneys, which are the filter of your body, which is the filter of your aquarium, of this bag of water that you're walking around in. So yeah, if you're putting dirty water in there, instead of a filter cleaning it out, which is what we would hope you would at least be doing, is using some filtered water. So the filter is doing the work, not your kidneys doing the work. That's why we say, please don't put tap water in there, because we just don't want you to stress your kidneys. Please.
Yeah, so we have the kidneys and also the lungs. So, and what is amazing with hydrogen is the way that match with this, because water in the kidneys and the air in the lungs. So it's the two ways that you have a real, you know, I can say a deep connection between our body and hydrogen. So this is the two amazing pumps, the set. And
Because one of the other ways that you get really amazing height, just so you understand, one of the other ways, so if you've got your kidneys, which are the little filters for your water system essentially, and your lungs for the air, the other way to get really amazing hydrogen is through a ventilator.
Yes.
Yes.
Not the other ventilators, through a hydrogen ventilator.
Yeah.
Which I know Michelle has. I have. Many other people. Of course you have.
So.
Of course you have. Which is the two ways that you can really enrich your body with hydrogen.
Yes. So if your environment, your liquid environment, is not clean, of course the cells cannot live there, and the cells are like the fish in the aquarium. So if you have not good water, what happens to the fish?
Yeah.
Sick. Yes.
They get sick.
Yes, and after yes.
Or they die.
Yeah. So usually the people don't go now to another shop and buy more fish. You can do it that, but what happens is the same. So it's not a happy hand.
Yeah.
Because things
The terrain is
not good. So things happens again.
if you're adding more fish, or in this case, if
You
you're
can add
adding
one.
more blood cells,
Yeah.
you are. Oh, we've got blood cells back on. Let's have a look.
Wow.
Let's see blood cells.
Yeah, this is F.
Basically,
This is the
too much
F1.
over Christmas.
But what has happened to this blood?
Can you stop that, please, so that you can see?
Oh. This is blood we were just looking at before?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. This is like,
Wow.
I was going to say
This is racing.
blood on fire, but it's blood on hydrogen.
Yes.
Basically, extremely inflamed blood.
Wow.
Wow.
Jenny's Swedish. It's all right. She likes to have a nice warm wine at Christmas. But yeah, it's amazing. If you look at it's going to settle down in a minute. But if you look at her whites, I mean, they were almost not. You couldn't really see them.
Right.
They were so tiny.
Next, you hear we can use this as the fireworks because it's more beautiful.
And cell fireworks.
I mean, obviously, this is on a slide, so it's ultimately gonna slightly slow down, you know, at some point. But
And Toni, just because a few people have asked, what water did you actually use, and what frequency have you also used with the hydrogen?
so I used Voss water.
Okay.
And it makes a difference. So when we use our filtered water from the tap, it doesn't have the water matters. The water does matter. It doesn't mean you're not getting hydrated, but the level is very different. And the frequency we used, they all were on hot frequency, right? Were you on? Oh, sorry, we were on Luma Vitae. Yeah, of course. We were on Luma Vitae.
That's not one of our frequencies.
What's that?
Nothing. I was like,
I don't know
frequency.
that's
I
it.
remember
Yeah.
that.
Chakra. That's why I called it the heart. So they were on Luma Vitae, 6 minutes heart, what I call heart.
Okay, heart. So Luma Vitae. They were on Luma Vitae frequency,
Sorry.
which Toni affectionately calls the heart frequency. And I would say that's because, if I recall, Toni, when you first drank your very first glass of Luma Vitae,
You said it opened her.
yes, and you had goosebumps everywhere.
I did.
Can see
I did.
it. Yes.
I had an extraordinary reaction to it. I really did. You can see here now that Jenny's is calming down. I mean, what it has done to the immune cells is amazing. It's just amazing. And also, you know, the separation of the cells, I mean, it's just night and day. You know, I don't think it's hard. I understand what I'm looking at versus other people, but if I explain to people that to move a terrain like that takes 3 months normally for me to get that separation of the cells, because every 12 weeks a new red blood cell is created, so it has the memory of when it starts to drop in, it's got the memory of the new terrain that's starting to creep in. You see, the beauty of this is by drinking this every day, it's almost like, correct me if I'm wrong, Nuno, but this is how I see it. It's like tricking the system into being healthy by every time you drink that water, which means eventually the terrain, because it operates like it's a totally healthy system, eventually, very quickly, it starts to take on that memory and that approach within the system, which is why you see once the hydration starts to come in and the cells start to separate and the white blood cells open up, is that very quickly the system starts to act like it's well, and therefore, and that's happening every day. So the water is like the one consistent thing that you're giving it that you can't necessarily, I haven't seen yet. I mean, I've seen that you could do infrared saunas 4 times a week, and that makes a really positive impact on the blood. But there's other elements to that, which is people get dehydrated or they're losing their trace minerals. You can't, the beauty of this is it's so simple. By doing this every day, it's almost like you're tricking the system into what a perfect terrain feels like every time you drink that bottle. So eventually the system just starts to act that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, do you know what is amazing, Toni? You show to us what the people feel. So this is amazing because you can show us a feel, because this is what you're feeling when you drink water. And you can show, and now it's more easy to understand all the effects of the water that you have when you drink water, because the people feel different things and now can understand, because can have a vision. This is so amazing, you know, when you start to see, it's more easy to understand.
What you're feeling.
This is amazing what you do, Toni, and to share with us this, because definitely is a way that you can see more than you can imagine, you know, it's another level, and it's real amazing.
The guys are just saying as well, even though they've just necked 3 bottles of water, they feel so much better. They feel so much better because they've been used to having the hydrogen water each day, and they just said today it's just been horrible.
Yeah, for the first time you show a feeling. This is amazing because nobody can see the feeling. You can feel, but you cannot see. Yeah, this is real amazing.
Yeah.
And so if we just take Jenny's blood as the last sample here. So Jenny didn't have the old cell power bottle, but Bill did. So with Jenny, what I would expect is she obviously got it when the new bottles came out. And I would probably expect within about 4 weeks that inflamed terrain that we saw, it's not going to hold that anymore. It's going to have shifted to a totally new possibility in how her terrain operates, looks, acts. You know, it's not just drinking the bottle is what's going to shift it. And if you don't, it's going to go back to how it is. In about 4 weeks' time, I would expect her now to hold a whole new possibility for her health. If I'm looking at it from a blood point of view. Did that make sense, guys?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's incredible.
It is incredible.
I just have to say, like, it's just, you know, it's so remarkable to be able to watch this in real time. I'm going to even tell you all that I was a little bit nervous because I was like, what happens if nothing happens in the blood? And then I was like, oh, of course it's going to happen in the blood, don't worry.
Yeah.
And Toni is like, the blood won't lie, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be. And I was like, oh, what if something doesn't happen? And it's so amazing to just see how immediate it is and how those effects are.
In the 3 cases, because if it happens on the only one, we can say, oh, no, but
yes, on all 3 of them.
on all 3 of them.
It's happened that way, which has been just phenomenal. And Toni, it's been so wonderful to have you here with us and to be giving us this literal inside view of our internal universe, of what our water actually does in this internal universe that we don't normally get to see, but you've literally put it up there on the screen for us to literally see what's happening when we apply our beautiful liquid light to our you know, to our terrain, to our cells, to our hydration. But we will have a replay of this sensational session that we've had with the amazing Toni Dicks. And we will edit out the hackers out of it. But I'm sure in, you know, maybe a few weeks' time, we'll have another one of these sessions as well. And you can see how powerful it is, how amazing it is to really see, like, as I said, literally getting to see the inside view of what
Yeah,
it's
this is a travel inside your
really-
body. This
Yeah.
is like,
It's phenomenal.
yeah, it's amazing. It is really amazing.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Awesome. All right. Well, with that, we will love you, leave you, and drink more liquid light. Get your blood moving. Amazing. Thank you so much, Toni. I don't know if you want to share your screen again so we can see.
Yeah.
You can see your lovely face.
Oh, sorry. Right. I see. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's beautiful Toni there.
Toni, amazing.
We will get some before and afters and put the bloods next to each other and share it in the Telegram group and in the Facebook group as well, so you can see that as well. But I'm definitely sure we will do another one of these sessions coming up on our summit that we have coming up next month with some very special guest stars.
Maybe we'll have Toni on the summit.
Maybe we'll have Toni right here. Maybe she'll do all of our blood. Maybe.
Yeah.
That will be scary. Incredible.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone for tuning in. And thank you for your patience with our tech stuff and us trying to work out bits and pieces. And we shall see you soon. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.